Welcome everybody, we're going to have another adventure this morning. I'm going to do a dual day today. Today I actually want to go and take some photos, but I also need to do some plasma cutting for the gallery, so I thought I'd share that as well. So another gorgeous, frosty, freezing morning. I'm going to be hopping on the motorbike and just taking you to some of my favourite places in the district and just seeing what this frost does to the light and the colours. Just as a side note, behind me is my studio and I call it the milk carton. So this is one of my favourite spots. I usually walk down here from home. I just love it. Watching the water trickle. So damn pretty. I really love coming around the bend here and looking down here, particularly when there's a frost. This ground just is the colours. Keep talking about colour, talk about light to the point of being boring. One of the really awesome things about having this little Sony is having a digital screen, so I can actually frame up a shot and I can tilt the screen. Let's see if I can get my fingers into it, because I'm such a shorty. I can tilt the screen down and take a really high shot. Oops. I don't know what you guys are seeing. Oh dear, I can't even find my zoom. It's so funny, things that just come naturally when you think you've got someone watching you. You kind of hesitate and double think everything. I absolutely love this spot. The reflections. I nearly always wear boots when I go out because I'm always walking through long grass, worried about snakes. Not this time of year, obviously. And this lovely old gum tree. You'll get sick of me with my gum trees. I love them. Anyway, on to the next spot. It's amazing how things change throughout the seasons and from year to year. Everything has a different feel. So painting inspiration is unending. Always check the mirrors before I take off. Took my gloves off this time. Often I'll just look and see it and think, is there a better composition? Should I be looking for shadows? What other things can we look for? Sometimes I just take photos because I just want a memory of sort of what was there, not necessarily something to paint, just the feel, something that I found interesting. So this one's got a nice little lead in with the shadows and the fence line. You just have to be careful with fence lines in the foreground because they can cut a painting. So I usually make them pretty bent, fairly crooked, broken shadow line. I wouldn't make that shadow from the fence solid. This is worth a stop. So, off in the distance there we've got Mount Buffalo. It gets snow on it, but it's probably one of the lower mountains in the area. Look at those hay bales. Wow, so we've got some really nice branches and things leaning down. Just looking for the perfect shot with that. Grass is a pain though. I might have to take a couple and make a composition. Low light, You know, it helps if you take the lens cap off. So, the mental notes that I take when I'm looking at this sort of thing, like, what's the light doing? You know, I get these, I mean, I'm not seeing much because I'm tucked in behind this grass. I guess I could go bushwalking. Oh, it's not wet, so anyway, the things you do for the love of art. Just wait to fall down a great big hole. At least there's no risk of snakes. I see glints of light. So you get this overall wash of light across the landscape, but then there's these little sparkles, and that's from the wet leaves and the spider webs. So those little mental notes, because cameras don't always get that. Gotta mow the lawn a bit. So, just looking at my lens, a bit dirty. When I'm thinking about my palette and the things that I want my viewers to look at when I do the paintings, I'll make sure that I leave those really little glinty colours like light lights. I'll mix the colour that I want for that, and then I never touch it through the whole painting, and I try to make everything else less than that, those little glints that I want. That's what winter is for me. And then I'm noticing the sunlight is sort of making fog come off the hay bales. So things like that, I'll zoom in on it. This camera doesn't have a huge, awesome zoom, but it's got such good quality photos that I can zoom right into that and have a better effect than with my old DSLR Nikon with a really epic zoom on it. So the photos on this camera, I don't need an amazing zoom because the file size is huge and it just captures everything that I want. So it's a Sony A7R number 3, I think it is, a Mark 3. So I've got a really nice shot, sort of. I like the way the trees line up, but the hay bales in the front, you would not paint them where they are, directly underneath the trunk. Sometimes it's good to just stand and look for a minute. Decide whether you can get a better angle and where that would be. I often go for sort of light in front of me because I like the shadows that is cast. And light, when you're looking into it, seems to soften the edges of a lot of things, whereas when you look away, things are a lot more crisp. I feel like you get a better feeling of atmosphere when you're looking towards the light a bit. Something that I don't do enough is check my photos. Sometimes you have a stuffed up setting, so I've got one photo here that's a little bit kind of blurry. Something went wrong with that. So it's worth just sort of reviewing what you've taken. And yeah, see, I've got a whole bunch of blurry ones. And I think that was because I had something on my lens. So I'm just going to go back and take a couple of those shots again through the long grass. Thought I was done with that this morning. Gloves on, gloves off. Well worth it in winter, I can tell you. the sad things about trying to compose a landscape is you can't get them to stand still. You see these beautiful dreamlike quality cows just happily grazing, calves having a play around, and as soon as you come up and they hear the motorbike, even when they just see you, if you walk up to them or close by, they just start to run away, particularly animals that have got babies, sheep and cattle. When you see one of those idyllic, tranquil paintings where the cows are just happily grazing, just know that it takes a lot of effort to get a shot that actually works. Oh, this is another one of my favourite places. Just quickly, I won't get photos here because I've done it recently. Okay, maybe I will get a photo. Look at it. So pretty. Same with the ducks. They fly away. On the sheep. I've already been spotted. The buggers. This is one of my favourite spots. Unfortunately, we've got a bit of cloud around and it's kind of shooting the light a bit. But these guys over this side are like, yeah, nah, we're not hanging. So one of my favourite gum trees looks terribly sick, actually. Just to show how much things have changed. This puddle of water used to have a lot of water in front of that gum tree. And now it doesn't. I'm not sure why. Because it doesn't sort of flood through here enough to kind of build up a silt layer. But somehow that's what's happened. And then the branches have fallen off. I'm thinking that maybe have contributed to it. But this big tall tree. So I did a painting called Sentinels. And I just loved it. I had it hanging. Made the mistake of hanging it in the kitchen. Fell in love with it. And gosh, to see that magnificent tree, and it looks like it's not well at all. And then my other nice favourite tree. She's dropped a few branches. No photos today. So this is the thing, you go out in the morning with a plan, and what once was a favourite spot is now not. And those sheep have cleared out to the other side of the paddock. So, onwards and upwards. Future creative. Do you know how many outtakes I've had in trying to do this outro? So basically, if you really enjoyed watching this, if you want to see more on getting inspiration for being creative, there is so much beauty around. I want to share it, and we'll see you in the next one.